Hello all, hope you're doing well today. Today we are talking about strategic planning. We'll go into budgeting in one of our next lectures in regards to our sport facility and event management. This topic is fundamental to achieving organizational success and aligning resources with your strategic goals. So here we go. After reading this chapter, you should understand the importance of the strategic planning process, as well as be able to generate effective solutions to problems of organizational performance and understand the significance of developing a comprehensive master plan. Let's start out by defining strategy. Strategy at its core is the plan and process of defining an organization's goals and objectives. It serves as a roadmap to guide actions and decisions toward a desired future state. The role of a strategic plan is, you have to think of it as a tool. It is a compass for leadership to navigate toward organizational success. It ensures that all efforts are aligned with long-term objectives. Strategic planning and budgeting are interconnected. While strategic planning sets the vision, budgeting allocates the necessary resources to achieve that vision. This alignment is critical for ensuring that financial resources support the organization's overarching goals. So, facilities and events in the sports industry are resource intensive. Misalignment between plans and budgets can lead to inefficiencies or unmet goals. A well-defined strategic plan helps prioritize initiatives, ensuring that resources, time, personnel, and finances are utilized effectively. The budgeting acts as the financial blueprint. It answers the question, do we have the resources to achieve our goals? For example, hosting a sporting event requires forecasting expenses for revenue, rental, staffing, marketing, and contingency plans. If you're considering hosting a regional tournament, the strategic plan might focus on maximizing attendance and creating a memorable spectator experience. The budget ensures resources are allocated to areas like promotion, security, and operational logistics. The role of strategy in the business plan is that it provides direction. Again, it serves as that compass, offering a clear future direction, ensures all stakeholders are working towards shared long-term goals. For example, a sports complex aiming to become a regional hub for youth tournaments requires a strategy outlining growth opportunities, partnerships, and market positioning. It focuses effort, so strategy fosters coordination across activities, ensuring that every department, team, or individual works cohesively toward uniform objectives. This avoids duplication of efforts and maximizes efficiency. Imagine the logistics of hosting a marathon. Strategy aligns marketing, security, operations, and volunteer management into a single cohesive effort. Strategy defines the organization. So through strategy, stakeholders, whether employees, customers, or partners, gain a clear understanding of the organization's mission, vision, and values. This identity is crucial for building a strong, unified brand. For instance, a professional sports team strategy might highlight community engagement as a core value, guiding both marketing campaigns and event programming. And it provides consistency. In an often unpredictable environment, strategy ensures consistency in decision-making and action. It reduces ambiguity by providing a structured plan of action, enabling the organization to maintain focus during uncertain times. A great example is responding to a sudden crisis during an event like severe weather that we just have gone through. With a strategic plan, teams know how to adapt and respond while keeping the event goals intact. So without clear goals, resources can be wasted and opportunities missed. Strategy eliminates that risk by setting clear, measurable objectives. How does an organization maintain its identity and effectiveness in the face of challenges or uncertainty? Really, the strategy acts as a stabilizer. So if you think about major international sporting events like the Olympics, it takes every effort from venue selection to athlete accommodation to align with overarching goals like sustainability and global unity. The Comprehensive Master Plan, or CMP, is a cornerstone of effective facility and event management. The CMP provides a detailed roadmap ensuring that every aspect of development aligns with strategic goals. Some key elements of the CMP. A strong CMP begins by articulating the guiding principles and underlying assumptions and strategies that influence planning and development. This context allows stakeholders to understand the rationale behind decisions. A university planning a new sports complex, like we're beginning with an arena, might base decisions on principles like sustainability and inclusivity, acknowledging constraints such as budget limitations and community needs. President Miller is right now lobbying in Austin for an arena, and much of that is to help with sustainability. We realize that having events down at the American Bank Center is something that's very difficult. Having them on campus only tends to include the students. So something at like an arena where we can have our graduations and other events, not just our basketball, as something that is sustainable for the university. And acknowledging our constraints, such as budget limitations. That's where lobbying for these funds is going to come into play. And then community needs. This is something that it could offer, it could be something that is rented out to community organizations at different times. So basically, this step involves the comprehensive master plan involves a detailed analysis of what is required. What are the current needs and future needs, and how do these needs translate into physical objectives? A professional team stadium planning process may identify the need for expanded seating, enhanced technology, and community-focused spaces. Visual and conceptual plans illustrate proposed developments, bring clarity to the project's goals. These plans help stakeholders envision the outcome and refine the scope. So a proposed plan for an Olympic Village might include maps, building designs, and layouts of athlete accommodations, dining facilities, and training centers. And finally, the CMP outlines actionable steps, assigns priorities, and organizes the development process into manageable phases. This ensures smooth progress towards the plan's objectives. So a phased approach to a stadium renovation might prioritize safety upgrades in the first phase, followed by technological enhancements and aesthetic improvements later on. And you see there on the right, really a comprehensive master plan looks at zoning, it looks at regulation and community covenant assessments. It looks at the space standards for an arena, for basketball, for volleyball, and then benchmarks those descriptions. And you have a program of space use, how you're going to utilize. If you look at the Dugan Wellness Center, you have Dugan Wellness Gym, but you also have the fitness facility, and then you have Island Hall Gym, how that all works and what is it utilized for. You look at the workflow analysis of, like we were talking about just there, in phased approaches. Oftentimes it's you do this in phase one, you do it in phases. So you block or fit those plans. You also have a concept site plan or a campus plan of how you're going to access the facility and how it's called egress and ingress, and how you access the center, what are the walkways, that sort of thing. You have an architectural image concept, and then a long-term maintenance plan, because it's not just about just building this facility, but what is the long-term maintenance plan, and what are the construction estimates associated with it. So the strategic facility plan is a critical document designed to align an organization's facilities with its overarching strategic objectives. This is a little different from the comprehensive facility plan or master plan. It provides a 2 to 5 year roadmap that considers all owned and or leased spaces, ensuring that the organization's facilities can support its mission effectively. A strategic facility plan encompasses the entire portfolio of facilities, so owned and or leased. And then what are those facility goals that are tied directly to the organization's strategic objectives? 4 steps in strategic facility planning are: number 1, understanding the organization's mission, vision, values, and goals. It's crucial that there's a thorough understanding of the organization's core purpose. What are the long-term aspirations, the vision? What are the ethical standards, the values, and the strategic priorities, the goals? So a sports organization focused on youth development might prioritize accessible, community-oriented facilities. Examining the range of potential facility needs. So this involves analyzing current and future demands for facilities to support the organization's activities. So some key questions to include: what functions do current spaces fulfill? And what additional spaces or upgrades are necessary to meet future needs? And working with this, when we were planning Island Hall, the Island Hall facility, we did not have offices for our graduate assistants, yet we had graduate assistants, so we needed spaces for them to work because we had limited facilities in Island Hall and our office suite. It could be a professional sports team expanding its training facilities that might require new technologies for athlete performance monitoring. A detailed evaluation determines if existing facilities can handle projected growth or if changes in organizational requirements. So that includes considering capacity. Again, you have to think about how many people are going to be in the facility at one time, what's the location, and then technological adaptability. Here we are, a university assessing whether our current athletic complex can support an increasing number of student athletes and intramural activities. Dugan Wellness Center was designed very well with the future in mind, and we're probably good for it for a while, but we have started moving a lot of our Islander athletics off campus to Momentum campus to help with capacity issues and future building. You also have to consider future changes and updates. So the effective strategic facility plan must remain flexible and adaptable to unforeseen changes in technology, regulation, or organizational strategy. This future-proofing ensures that facilities remain relevant. And so incorporating modular spaces in a facility design allows for easy adaptation to evolving needs, such as the addition of esports facilities or virtual training centers. So taking these 4 steps and breaking them down as you're considering your facility plan. So this provides a summary of the strategic facility plan and the comprehensive master plan. The strategic facility plan is one that the time frame is short to midterm, like we said, 2 to 5 years, while the comprehensive master plan is long-term and overarching. The strategic facility plan focuses on current and near future alignment, while the comprehensive master plan is comprehensive, addressing physical, functional, and strategic growth over decades. And so it looks at the infrastructure and systems within the site, the aesthetics of the buildings and the grounds. The SFP, or strategic facility plan, is more adaptable, while the comprehensive master plan is broad and structured framework. And then the purpose of the SFP is it directly supports strategic business goals, whereas the comprehensive master plan focuses on broader developmental goals. And so your strategic facility plan is really looking at the existing condition analysis, your organization needs statement, and you're linking that to your strategy. Oftentimes it's doing a gap analysis and recommendation for new spaces and buildings, and the facility cost projections and life cycle cost analysis. And there are people that do that. Your capacity analysis and user recommendations. So I know we've talked about it before, but the Dugan Wellness Center supervisors go around, facility supervisors go around and they take a head count of the facilities that are being utilized every hour. And that just helps to give information for usage. Whereas the comprehensive master plan is really more of, it's looking at the physical plan and the infrastructure and the systems within the site. It's about the aesthetics of the buildings and the grounds and the phasing plans for building, because it's not something that it all goes up at one time. It has to go through phases. There are construction estimates that are associated with it, as well as engineering assessments associated with it as well. Integrated planning, or IP, establishes a mission and vision framework that provides a big picture view, aiming to align and coordinate efforts across an entire institution, community, or organization. Unlike isolated project-specific plans, it promotes a holistic approach that brings all stakeholders together towards a shared direction. So it focuses it's on the holistic approach, on the organization as a whole rather than individual projects. It's mission and vision driven, so it establishes a strong foundation on that mission and vision of the organization or community. And it provides a unified direction and ensures all efforts and actions are aligned, fostering cohesion among various teams and departments. And a collaborative effort, so it encourages participation from all stakeholders to promote buy-in as well as collective action. And communication. It facilitates a unified voice across the institution or organization for consistency in messaging and goals. Its intent is to align everyone to move in the same direction at the same time with consistent messaging and shared objectives. It bridges gaps between planning, execution, and communication to ensure strategic and operational alignment. So IP asks these key questions. Have we undergone an IP effort that closely aligns the institution's mission and vision to the institutional, academic, financial, physical, and capital plans? If yes, then you want to identify when the effort took place and clarify the scope of the planning and the stakeholders involved. Assess whether all critical domains, academic, financial, physical, and capital, were integrated effectively. And if not, then explore why an IP effort has not been conducted and consider whether individual plans in this area exist and how disjointed or aligned they currently are. When was it last updated to reflect changes and measure pressures in the external and internal environment? So you have to determine the publication or revision date of the most recent IP or related plan and evaluate if major changes in the environment, technological advances, economic shifts, or organizational priorities have occurred since that, and then if that warrants updates. And when you look at the plan and compare it to your current physical state, does it appear that the plan has been followed? And so you conduct a gap analysis to compare the current state, looking at your facilities, your resources, and operations to the envisioned outcomes in the IP. And you identify areas where the plan has been successfully implemented, areas where the plan has deviated, and potential reasons why. Were there resource constraints or shifting priorities? And if not, have you done at least some portion of the IP, and is there a plan to integrate the rest? If portions of the IP have been implemented, document the progress made so far. Review whether there is a defined roadmap to complete the remaining elements, and highlight potential barriers such as funding, stakeholder resistance, or lack of leadership. buy-in to full implementation. When you speak with your peers and colleagues, how do they feel about the current plan? Gather qualitative feedback from key stakeholders such as faculty, staff, and administrators. And identify general sentiments. Are stakeholders supportive, indifferent, or critical of the plan? Do they feel the plan reflects current institutional goals and priorities? And what changes would your peers and colleagues recommend? Document specific recommendations from the stakeholders. Group suggestions into categories such as strategic, operational, financial, or communication related, and evaluate the feasibility and potential impact of these recommendations on improving or updating the plan. And next, you facilitate a collaborative review session to assess the status of the current integrated plan. If gaps or misalignments are identified, initiate discussions on revising or refreshing the plan to better reflect the institution's evolving needs and priorities. To ensure successful integrated planning, committee composition and responsibilities are critical. Here's a framework based on the input. You really want diverse expertise. So an integrated committee should include individuals with expertise across key domains to provide well-rounded input. And this would be, especially on our campus, it would be academic affairs. So your faculty, deans, or academic program leaders, your financial officers and budget managers, experts in physical infrastructure and capital planning are important. So your facilities management team, your community relations as well. So think about liaisons for external partnerships and public relations. And representation of key constituents. So ensuring representation from diverse stakeholders enhances the inclusivity and effectiveness of the committee. So your constituents should include administration, your leadership to provide strategic direction, your faculty and staff, their input from those directly delivering and supporting services, especially in the case of Dugan Wellness Center or Island Hall Gym. The students, representation to advocate for primary beneficiaries. This is all really relevant to what we're doing with the arena right now, is gathering support for that. The external stakeholders, community members, alumni, and other industry representatives to align institutional plans with external expectations. And then committee activities. The committee should have a clear mandate with well-defined responsibilities. So your core responsibilities are representation. Number one, you want to advocate for the interests and needs of key institutional stakeholders. That doesn't always mean you have the yes men on your team. It's important to get different viewpoints. You should also have review and advisory people. So you evaluate strategic priorities, operational plans, and funding proposals. You provide informed recommendations to leadership. And you oftentimes need conflict resolution. So you serve as a mediator to address conflicts between internal organizations related to planning issues and ensure alignment with institutional goals. So you develop a committee charter to formalize roles, responsibilities, and decision-making processes. Schedule regular meetings to monitor progress and provide updates on planning efforts. And assign a chairperson or facilitator to ensure organized and productive discussions. Because you guys know, meetings without any productive discussions, we can schedule on meetings, but they really need to have a purpose, and so that we're not wasting people's time. Use subcommittees or task forces for specialized areas like facilities, technology, or academic initiatives. So when developing a new sport facility, it's important to have a strategic plan, that compass for leadership to navigate toward organizational success. And that requires an integrated planning committee with their defined roles and, again, that vision towards the organizational success. So that strategic plan, that vision. And that is all that I have for you today. We will pick back up in part 2. Well, we'll talk more about gathering information towards that strategic plan process. All right. I look forward to talking with you again. Have a great day.